So we're going to talk about cosmetic acupuncture today, and it's something that's gotten a lot of attention recently, certainly in the last 10 years or so, but our friends, the celebrities, have definitely come to bat. And it's something that's, it's a more natural approach to reducing wrinkles and bringing facial rejuvenation. So Gwyneth Paltrow, Kim Kardashian, this is Millie McKenzie, who apparently is a British star, but I just like that picture. And David Duchovny, great picture. It was on the front of Esquire magazine, but please know that you will never look like that. That was absolutely done for the cameras, but it's kind of an interesting picture. But if any of you haven't had acupuncture, how many of you have had acupuncture? Okay, and how many of you have not? Okay. So if this makes you squeamish at all, which I know definitely does for some people, just notice that they look pretty darn relaxed. And that is the experience of acupuncture. That is also the experience of facial acupuncture. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So I just wanted to list a couple names that it's sometimes referred to: cosmetic acupuncture, facial rejuvenation. Sometimes the term facial acupuncture facelifts is put out there. I don't like that name because it's not surgery, it's not a facelift, but it does sometimes produce those desired effects, which is nice. So what are we targeting here? We're targeting wrinkles. I go through these for a reason, because we can actually target using acupuncture the specific wrinkles. So the small lines around the lips, worry lines, those nice little lines that we always make when we look frustrated, forehead lines, crow's feet, around the eyes, bunny lines are the little guys across the nose, and marionette lines, which are these lines kind of on the side of the mouth. Now, when somebody comes to see me for facial acupuncture, I'm not telling them what they need or how they should approach this. I'm asking you what you want, because sometimes different lines don't bother people, and different lines bother people for different reasons. I had a patient ask me about those kind of worry lines, which really bothered her. She was younger, because she got them when she started getting migraines, and so she wanted them gone because they were just a constant reminder of how she was in pain. So everybody wants these things for different reasons, and I'm going to listen to this, basically the message. Other things that can be helped: neck wrinkles, sagging. There's a muscle that when we do this kind of pops out called discoloration, and that tends to get kind of bunched up as we age, and it's just the effect of gravity. And sometimes when you release that, it just smooths the whole neck, and that goes for a number of the other wrinkles as well. I'll be talking about the mechanism a little bit, but it usually takes a month to start noticing differences, unless we're talking about wrinkles from a direct muscle implication. So if you release a muscle, sometimes one treatment you start noticing a difference, and that is very, very common for the kind of forehead wrinkles. So other things that can be helped with acupuncture: dark spots, hooded eyelids, also known as ptosis. This happened recently to a patient of mine who I didn't even know she had this condition, but I released some of the muscles around the eyebrows, and she saw more clearly than she had in years, because it lifted the eyebrow, and it lifted the eyelid. So the acupuncture can definitely help with that. Also scars on the face or anywhere else on the body, really. Acupuncture can reduce the appearance of the scars. And this is also the case for scars from acne. And they can be new scars or old scars as well.
And how could that work? How does that work? Can you explain that at all?
The scarring?
Yeah.
So let me go through this because along the top are kind of the reasons why you get wrinkles, and this will answer your question. So the first thing is circulation, digestion diminishes, hormones as we age, and acupuncture will actually increase circulation to the face. So we're bringing new blood supply, and it's going to reduce inflammation. And acupuncture supports digestion, balances hormones, even without changing anything else in lifestyle. Also just the effect of gravity. So you're going to improve tone and elasticity. And same thing, we're bringing a lot of energy to the face for this process. This is one of my favorite things is, we have habitual patterns of expression. We all are around, people that we love or all the time, and, they tend to make the same faces over and over and over again. And we can see it in other people more than we can see it in ourselves, right? So by kind of resetting the face in this way, it can actually kind of clear those patterns of expression. I had a patient who told me it wasn't coming for the facial acupuncture, but I was using points kind of in the forehead, and he was telling me that at work he wasn't making that same scowling face that he always made, and as a result he was in a better mood, and that's really nice. And again, you get that benefit almost immediately from acupuncture. So with the scarring, what you're doing is releasing the scar tissue. So there's a technique where you're literally surrounding the scar and breaking up the scar tissue. You're bringing new blood to the area and releasing that scar. Yeah.
Is that before and after picture?
Yes. Actually, I think they're both
way
beautiful.
before.
Okay.
So how long do the results of the treatments last?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so how it works. We talked about stimulating the face with acupuncture needles. So we're using very specific acupuncture points, as well as targeting wrinkles, which is the slides that we just looked at. So here we have, basically what happens with the body for when we get any kind of wound or an injury. So it stimulates a healing response, and that healing response is going to include collagen. It's going to improve elastin, and it's basically by having these like tiny little micro traumas to the face, you're stimulating this healing response, and it takes about a month to stimulate collagen in this way, which is why usually we're not going to look at results until about a month into the process. Again, we're increasing circulation to the face, which reduces inflammation. And I think this is the best thing about the acupuncture is that you look like yourself. It's not something that has the concern of possibly making you look a little bit different. And one of the things that is most commonly reported is that people just have that glow, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So other benefits of acupuncture, these are the side effects, we'll call them, of cosmetic acupuncture, is that it promotes homeostasis and self-healing, improves sleep, reduces stress, and stabilizes mood. So these are, you come in for wrinkles and you leave with this, right? Pretty good. Strengthens the immune system, balances hormones. So, things like hot flashes or, painful periods, that's something that the basic protocol of this type of acupuncture would help with, actually. And then the general things that facial acupuncture that helps anyway. So if somebody has TMJ, they're going to be using the same kind of points. If somebody comes in with like a chronic sinusitis, these are the same points, and so it can help clear out, just open the sinuses, and again, these are the side effects. So yeah.
You said it takes about 28 days to see results. Is that based on once a week treatments, twice a week? Or?
Yes, once a week. Yeah, there's some kind of schools of cosmetic acupuncture that do 2-3 times a week, but I do once a week, and
once a week, 30 minutes.
it's a 1 hour
1 hour
treatment. Yeah. So expectations. So a lot of this is based on kind of your constitution, your lifestyle. If somebody comes in who's a smoker and is eating fast food and doesn't move, they're gonna have a little bit less results than somebody who is doing everything that Dr. Lisa talked about in her slides. But you can expect on looking about 5 to 10 years younger after a course of acupuncture. Again, this is depending on your body constitution. And then what's kind of neat is that after that, this is to answer your question, you age from that point. And of course you do need some maintenance treatments of, about once a month, but you'll age from that point. And these are great health benefits anyway from the treatments. So things to consider, and these are not kind of true contraindications, but it's more from a Chinese medicine standpoint. Doing a lot of points in the face draws energy up, and so where that's not a good idea is if somebody has uncontrolled high blood pressure, migraines. Sometimes that type of treatment can stimulate a migraine. Seizures. I wouldn't recommend this for somebody who's pregnant, or who's kind of in the midst of treating chronic illnesses. And I say that because we're going to be diverting energy to the face to kind of create this process. And so if somebody is working on healing their stomach, let's focus on that first before doing this. And like I said, acupuncture can be really helpful for those medical conditions. So let's treat that first.
What about arthritis?
So arthritis is something that acupuncture can be really helpful for. I wouldn't. It kind of depends on the situation. If it's something that's kind of debilitating, and that to focus on that first, or it can be something that we can just include in the treatments as well. So I wouldn't say that that's a contraindication, but it's definitely something that I would want to talk to someone about first. So some cautions. There's there's a lot of things out there that people are doing, and it's hard to even keep up with it sometimes. Botox is something that's really, really popular right now, and you have to remember Botox is a neurotoxin, and so it's actually designed to stop the muscle from working. And so when you think of acupuncture, increasing circulation, healing, releasing toxins, it's actually going to have an adverse effect on the area, meaning it's going to the area of Botox is going to not last as long, if that makes sense. So we usually just avoid the area for about 3 to 4 weeks or until it wears off. But we can still do acupuncture on other areas. Lasers, about 3 weeks is typically the waiting period. And then for fillers or microdermabrasions, I just recommend that people go to their providers who they received the treatments from and ask them how long they should wait for acupuncture. Because if you went and paid for these, we want you to get the maximum benefit from it. So that's really the best way of doing that. So one thing I should mention is for people who have had surgeries, that acupuncture can actually make the surgeries last longer. So after an initial healing period, it's actually quite nice to do acupuncture in the area for it to have a longer effect.
If you've had Bell's palsy before, is this gonna kick it back in?
No, not
Have
at
it in your
all.
face, it's
Bell's
not gonna-
palsy, acupuncture is just so helpful for Bell's palsy that it's actually a treatment for it. If anybody has Bell's palsy or has friends, tell them to go to an acupuncturist because it'll reduce the amount of the symptom time tremendously. So, but it definitely won't
trigger it.
No. Okay, so what are the sessions like? I recommend that people come in with a clean face, or I always provide face wipes. Wearing loose-fitting clothes, and make sure you have something to eat because acupuncture can lower your blood sugar a little bit, and we don't want people to feel dizzy. In terms of how it feels, a number of you had said you've had acupuncture before, and a lot of the times we use points on the face. What's interesting is that the acupuncture needles that I use are much smaller than the typical acupuncturist even uses. So I brought some examples if afterwards you want to see them. Some people like to see them, some people don't. I totally respect that. But I mean, we're talking a little bit thicker than like a cat's whisker is the thickness, and the I usually tell my patients that you might feel like a little poke going in, but once it's in, you might feel like a little bit of like heaviness or like a dull ache, or like a shifting or a movement. But most people fall asleep when they have the points in their body. It's really quite relaxing. I was surprised myself when I did my training in facial acupuncture. I don't think I'd ever had that many points in my face, and I was a little concerned about it, and I loved it. I mean, it was so relaxing, and I thought about putting a picture of myself with all those points in, but don't have it this time. But it's truly a really relaxing experience, and not one that you would expect, because we don't like needles in our culture, and I totally understand that. So in terms of the cost, I recommend doing a consult, which is just 30 minutes, just to talk about what your interests are, what you want, if you're a good candidate for it, and talk a little bit about your medical history as well. Each session is a full hour, and I recommend doing 12 weekly sessions. And like I said, usually about after session 5 is when you start noticing differences, because you start getting that collagen. And this is something that we don't do very often around here, but if you guys are interested in doing a package, you can either call the office, or I think there's a sign-up sheet maybe outside, and we can give you a call. And if you purchase the 12 session package, you get 10% off. And you can give that as a gift or use it yourself. And if there's some things that if there's reasons that you want to wait, that's okay too. We can talk about it. Yeah.
How does that pricing compare to fillers or Botox or anything else? I don't even know if you know the answer to that.
So I don't have the exact numbers, but usually, for those kinds of treatments, you're talking about a couple $1,000s, and they don't last. They last 5-6 weeks, but I think it kind of depends. I can do some research for you, let you know if you like. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
So you're saying you do the 24 days, the 24 sessions, 12 sessions, and then after that you have to come back once a month to maintain?
About once a month. Yeah. It depends on the person, but about once a month is a good maintenance plan. So and this is something else that helps with maintenance. There's derma rollers or something that's become quite popular. Aculift, which is a derma roller that's been approved by the American Acupuncture Council, which provides practice. It's the only acupuncture grade roller like this, and what it is it's a roller that has, for the body, it has about 540 needles on it all the way around. And there's a one for the body, which is a little bit wider, that has about 1,000 needles. And you can do this at home. It's regulated like a razor. And what you do is you just kind of roll it on your face. And I recommend doing it once every 3 days to start with, and then you can increase. And there's it's always nice to do a serum afterwards. And there's one that we have here from a company in Florida called Gracefully Made USA, which has hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C. Very, very simple, and just kind of gets that nourishment straight to your face. And these will also increase the results as well, and help it to last longer. And you do have to replace them about similar to a razor, about 3 to 6 months. When it starts to kind of irritate the skin, that's when it's time to get a new one. And I have some examples of those if you'd like to see them. So just a thank you. These are my teachers who I've learned cosmetic acupuncture from. And this is my mother. We were at the World Series game with Sean Doolittle. So, and the parade. So, anyway, questions, nets, or otherwise related?
The Acupuncture derma roller work with sensitive skin?
So I find that people with sensitive skin can also use it. You basically apply whatever pressure you want to it. And so with sensitive skin, so there's the way that you do it is you kind of go up and down 3 times, and then across, up and down 3 times. And so what I would do is start at the very minimum, like maybe not even do that, and then not apply too much pressure to it, and just see how your skin responds. But I have very sensitive skin, and I don't have a problem with it. You might also want to get or replace it a little bit more often, but it doesn't seem to stop people from using it.
Yeah, I've always seen metal needles being used.
Mhm.
People ever use glass needles?
Glass needles. I have never seen a glass needle. That would probably be too thick, is my guess. I've never heard that. Yeah, different metals are more typical. And the needles that I use for face are actually coated in like a silicone, so they could glide in a little bit easier. That's more typical of the Japanese style needles. But glass, that would be interesting.
Well, it'd be interesting because then you can do FTR, thermal reflection measurements, and watch changes in your skin.
Yeah. I'll let you know. I haven't seen that one. Anyone else? Excellent. Well, thank you guys all.